Welcome back to the Hollow Sky Podcast. We're your hosts. I'm Steven.
And Kyle.
And that means it's Monday, Hollow Cult. And we're here to choke slam the work week into submission and get this whole thing started off right. Kyle has put together some interesting information on
selling your soul.
Hey, that's weird because we were just talking about that. But anyway, yeah, before we get in to selling our souls, we got to get through the business. Business first. Housekeeping first. So check us out at all our social media, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, Discord, Reddit. Search up the Hollow Sky Podcast. You'll find us there. Join the community. Be part of the Hollow Cult. You ain't got to sell your soul to be part of the cult. You just got to be cool. And we're not actually going to give you information on how to sell your soul. But I'm assuming.
Yeah, we're kind of not.
Yeah. So don't, for those of you who heard that and are immediately tuning out, don't tune out. Tune in. Tune in because
this is more about people who have.
Yeah. It's not about doing it. It's about people who have done it.
Yeah.
So
I'm not interested in selling my soul, so.
Yeah.
But apparently we all have.
If you have sold your soul and you have a paranormal experience that you'd like to share.
Oh, yeah.
For us to feature on a future Thursday episode of the Listener Experience, Kyle's got some information that you're going to want.
I do. You can write your story out, shoot it over to the email, which is going to be hollowskypodcast@gmail.com. You can call or text the holophone, 618-556-0837. You can give us a short description of an encounter that you'd like to sit down and talk to us about, whatever you guys got going on. Email is definitely the preferred way of contact. It is the easiest way for us to keep things good and organized. Things get lost in social media. And once again, don't take it to heart if we don't automatically respond. We are typically the type that will, when we're ready for that interview, you're going to know. We're going to go, hey, you ready to come on the show? Because we're ready for you. Outside of that, we don't typically respond to many things.
We're trying our best.
Yeah, it's just like with the stories, each note to self, though, each and every person that does submit an encounter or anything, we are extremely grateful for it. We're always going to be grateful for it. It's just a lot of times
we're not very organized.
Yeah, and it's just, you got to kind of be real. We can't always get wrapped into long conversation because we got a lot going on, families and sports and dinner and everything else. So things get a little crazy from time to time. But once again, we do appreciate all of you more than we could ever express. And yeah.
If you'd like to support the show, plenty of ways you can do it. First, help support our sponsors. If you hear an ad, something you're interested in, look into it. If it's something you think's cool, maybe buy something. You know the drill. The more the more interest we build in the sponsors, the more sponsors we get. It just kind of works that way. We have a Patreon you can check out. Go over there. We got a lot of extra bonus stuff from last week's episode. I know I'm going to post a bunch of pictures in the call transcript and everything that goes along with that. Going to be a coupon on the way. Coupon, however you'd like to say it. For the merch store. Speaking of merch store, go to hollowskypodcast.com. You can find our merch store there. Go and get you some Hollow swag. Rep the cult. You can also leave us a 5-star rating and review wherever you listen to podcasts. Your podcatcher, that is. We love hearing from you. Love hearing all the positives. If you leave us a negative, we'll just make fun of you because that's just how it works.
True story.
Because we have the microphones and you don't. So, sorry.
Dang.
That being said, it's time to sell your soul.
Let's go.
Yay.
So, all right. I've always wondered how exactly famous people become famous. Of course, you
Like Drake.
like 100% like Drake.
Yeah, same.
That dude, if anybody has sold their soul, it's 100% that guy.
Yeah.
You know, I can wrap my mind around exposing yourself to said environment that you're wanting to get into, music, acting, whatever. And then you just keep grinding and you gain more exposure and make more connections, and then you make it one day. That's kind of, I feel like that's how everybody envisions it, how to work.
You mean working toward your success?
Yeah.
Nobody has time for that.
That is true. I miscalculated my thoughts there. I could definitely see a lot of people not enjoying that idea. But you also have to ask yourself, what about all the talented people that essentially never get discovered? On the other hand, what about all the people that seem to appear out of nowhere overnight? It's like they just gain instant success. It's always interested me, even more so with music, because I can remember specific encounters where I hear something seemingly before everybody else does, not in a literal sense, but you find somebody when they're extremely small, and then it seems like once that happens, overnight that person becomes a massive hit, and then everybody you know is talking about them. And you're just like, God, that's crazy. Like, it's so bizarre that those things happen. But music, it draws me in a little bit more than your political aspect to this or the movie aspect to this, because music has an extremely special connection with the soul, in my opinion. So much so that in throughout, even in my life, music has been a way of clearing the sins, cleaning out the hurt and pain. And it has been such a huge force in my life. And I feel like music is that way in most people's life.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was a good way to put it.
Yeah, like I can remember being stuck in my head, and you put that song on, and you're just like, you know what, this is helping me work through. And even more so that there have been tons of studies in this field where people who have had surgery, after their surgery, they're played music, and it literally takes away pain. Like it is recorded that people who listen to music after surgery versus the people who didn't, the people that did take way less or no pain medication as the person who doesn't listen to music after said surgery.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
That's crazy to me. And music is it's like it's almost tied to our emotions. It's nostalgic. Yeah. It's you hear a certain chord progression that could like make you cry.
Oh yeah.
Or you hear a specific line from a song and it touches you in a way that you're just like it
just takes you to a different realm.
Yeah.
It can make you feel invincible.
Yeah, they're like it's like spell. It's like a spell.
It's crazy, dude. It's amazing. So that's why this connection piques my interest more than these other realms, because I feel like the other ones are way more self-explanatory. The music one, I could definitely understand why dark forces, if you will, have infiltrated the music, because like what me and Steve just said, it is this big connection to people. It's so relatable. It's so infectious that it definitely makes sense where the dark forces would want to infiltrate this and use it to their advantage. But in the end, there's tons of logical explanations to a person making it. We don't have the ability to inquire about every single artist's backstory and how long it takes for them to break out. What seemingly could be an overnight success, unbeknownst to the rest of us, they could have been grinding for 10 years before they finally popped.
Yeah, that's true.
We don't always get that big log of backstory. I've also wondered how, like I said before, you can find this off-the-wall artist that you've never heard about. You fall in love with the music. All of a sudden, it starts popping up everywhere. Everybody gets talking about it. You know, is this a connection with algorithms? Is it a collective consciousness thing? Are you talking about said artist so much to the people around you that they start exploring that artist and become infatuated with said artist? You know, are you actually manifesting this success, so to speak?
Yeah, that is interesting. That it seems to go in that order a lot of the time.
Yeah, yeah. And it's weird. It's weird to think about. It's not quite to the equivalent, but it's kind of like when you go out and buy a new car and then all of a sudden you see that car everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like your focus and intent just makes you hyper focus on it.
Right. But it brings us into the old saying of selling your soul to the devil. One of the most famous cases, and this is kind of a given, and that's why I wanted to run into it, is the case of Robert Johnson, one of the greatest blues musicians to ever live. Ironically enough, little is actually known about Robert. He started playing the diddley bow, which was how he was actually introduced to music. Later in life, he was married and was to have a kid. His wife, at the time, decides that she's going to go ahead and move back home. That way she can get extra help in raising the child. Robert had every intention to follow her back to Mississippi and be with her, although he took a little bit of extra time because he stopped to perform on the way home. Once he got home to his wife and child, he found out that they were both already buried.
Oh.
That
took a turn.
Yeah, they both apparently passed during labor.
That sucks.
Yeah. And once he arrived to be with his family, the wife's family blamed it on the devil's music. So that could have been part of the spawn of this whole backstory of Robert. But it seemed that this event pushes him back into music, and he would actually go to street corners to perform. And by almost everyone's account, he sucked. He was fucking terrible.
Damn it, Robert.
And to further that point, he went to a Sun Houses and Willie Brown show in Robbinsville. During intermission, he gets on stage, takes one of the guitars, and basically is like, fuck it, I'm making everybody here listen to me play. I want to make it so bad, I'm just doing this. So he starts playing, and everybody in the crowd starts complaining. And they essentially boo him off stage and out of the venue.
He's not having a good time.
No. And from there, he disappears for upwards to 6 months. Nobody knows where he went, what he's doing, blah, 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 blah. He pops up again at another House and Brown show in Banks, Mississippi. He asks permission before just taking one of the guitars and ripping it. He asked permission. He's like, hey, can I play a piece? And a lot of people seem to think that they let him because they felt bad for him because of how last time went. So they're like, you know what? Fuck it. Go ahead, play.
That's understandable.
As soon as he picks up the guitar, he's a star.
Shredder.
Everybody
Super shredder.
is like, holy shit. They described it like he could play in a way that it seemed like two musicians were working together.
Shreddy Krueger.
Yes. And so naturally, people are like, how is this possible? How in what could be a matter of 3 to 6 months does he go from sucking terribly to not only a fantastic guitar player, but now he's like this smooth lyricist too?
Oh, he was multitasking.
Yeah.
Dual wielding.
Exactly. So as the rumor goes, after he's booed off stage, he went to the crossroads at midnight and summoned the devil. The devil promised him to promised to endow him with supernatural musical abilities as long as his soul was on the table. People do what they do, and they begin to break down the metaphors of his music. But his music does mention things like hellhounds, hoodoo, magic, spirits, evil, and even the devil. And from here, I always find it humorous. I'll always find this humorous, and I'm sure everybody can relate to this. But I love when people listen to a song, especially from artists who aren't here anymore, who don't even have the chance to elaborate. But when people sit down and they're like, no, Steve, this song is not about doing drugs. This song is about bacon.
I was wondering where the route was going to end up. Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like people, they like to try to be the ones who are the expert and explain what this artist's lyrics actually mean.
Yeah.
Which is open-ended bullshit. You can't do that. You can't decipher someone else. It's impossible. I'm not saying you can't get lucky and actually get it, but
it's almost like
a person can write how their neighbor is the devil. Not literally the devil, but that could be a metaphor for how their neighbor is a piece of shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
it's almost like music is subjective, interpretive.
It is.
Like it can mean different things for different people.
It 100% is. Because how many times have you listened to a song where you're like, yeah, I don't think this song is what I think it's about, but this is what I think it's about, and this is how I'm going to view it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's how I listen to all the songs.
Exactly. If
Johnny Q. Public thinks something different, I don't give a shit.
That's where I'm at. Like, it is all it's personal. Like it fits every person in a different manner, which is what music is intended to do. But back to Robert and his methods, like apparently when he used to record, he would face the corner. He would like kind of get in the corner to record. And they don't know, was that him guarding his secrets essentially, or did he just like the acoustic, the reverb, whatever it is of that said environment?
Yeah, or was he in like some sort of meditation? Was he like channeling something over there?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
I just like that mental picture of him just standing in the corner.
It's creepy.
With the guitar is weird.
It makes you feel like the Blair Witch.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah. But unfortunately for him, his success was short-lived. At the age of 27, he passes away, which, as Steve knows, because I know I've heard Steve talk about it, puts him into the 27 Club.
Mm-hmm.
And a quick little breakdown of that. I'm not going to go into too much detail about it, but the 27 Club is for artists who have passed away by the age of 27. You have people like Kurt Cobain, Jimi Hendrix, Amy Winehouse, Janis Joplin, and the list goes on. You have to admit that it is extremely bizarre that there is a list of very talented people in their genres that come to an early demise at a specific age, nonetheless. You got to admit that's a little weird. I'm not saying you got to fully buy the stories, but you got to admit that's weird.
It is strange. I'd like to look at the numbers to see like what the percentage of people, like normal, non-famous people dying at 27 is.
Right. And there may be some outside statistic that would change your mind from it being paranormal. I just find it fucking crazy, especially with all the rumors. And like I think with Robert, his was like a mysterious death. Like they weren't sure. I don't even think they know where his body is. He's in an unmarked grave somewhere, apparently.
That's strange.
And there's only like 3 public pictures of him, 3 or 4 public pictures
the whole
that anybody's ever
story is
seen.
weird.
It is weird.
Because I kind of looked into it whenever our old pal, Eager Agent, kept trying to get us to go there. Just strange.
I'm down. I'm down to go.
Apparently we're too late and we got kicked out.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
We're fashionably late.
That is.
It's whatever.
We are fashionable.
But I move on because I found this really bizarre encounter from Lady Gaga. And she openly has spoken on selling her soul to the dark forces of the Illuminati organization, which is a pretty hefty claim. Furthermore, in my opinion, it's kind of a trendy claim for an artist to almost use it as a form of clout, because you hear of mega stars like Jay-Z and Beyonce. Like, that's probably the first one that comes to mind when you think of artists in the Illuminati. So I feel like it's kind of trendy to claim that. But once again, I'm sitting here and reading this or listening to it. Is that a metaphor? Is it just, like I said, is it just her chasing clout and trying to be bigger than what she is? Not to mention, with these types of people, you have rules to follow. You can't go here, you can't say this, because is the phrase selling your soul, does that have ties to, like I was saying, these dumbass rules that get put onto these people? No, Steve, you listen, dude. You're not going to affiliate with Kyle because he's an idiot. You have to keep your image up.
Yeah.
Right? So is that the version of selling their soul they're actually talking about? Or is it literal context? I feel like there's both. People obviously make the claim like, oh, I'm selling my soul for fame because, I got to do things against my nature.
Yeah, give up the life I had before.
Right.
But I also feel like it's worded like that to muddy the waters.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I could definitely see that. But in Lady Gaga's case, it's interesting. So she definitely elaborates on it. And this is a quote. I had just been on stage. It was a good show. I was high on the love and the applause of the crowd. I was outside lighting a cigarette, thinking about scoring some more cocaine. I was actually aching for more of everything. I just wanted to feel good, feel anything. Then this man, a strangely ageless man in a suit, spoke to me. He was leaning against the wall, smoking, and said to me, I think you've got what it takes. Do you want it? And she's like, what is it? And she's like, I thought he was coming on to me. But he smiled and said, everything. Success, fame, riches, power. Do you want it all? She's like, I looked at him curiously. I couldn't work him out. Like, he just stood there and sang one of my songs from my routine earlier, and it was otherworldly. I stared at him like he was a dark jewel dredged up from the deepest ocean. I got down on my knees and asked him who I should praise. I looked at him right in the eye and told him I wanted it all. I told him I would do anything for it.
That whole quote feels weird. Just feels weird to me. The way she's described him.
Yeah.
A dark jewel from the deepest ocean feels off.
It's weird.
Yeah.
And supposedly, now I haven't watched that, but apparently there's a documentary about her called 5'2". It's Gaga 5'2". And this was part of an interview set that was supposed to be in that documentary. But according to production staff, this part was actually removed from the documentary.
And Gaga's been known to do some weird
shit.
PR stunts, like the meat suit
Yeah.
and all sorts of weird shit.
It's bizarre, man. It's a really, really strange encounter. Could it be a PR stunt by her? Maybe. I don't know why, though. I don't know why you would... Because it's not like she needed any more clout. She was big. She was a very successful artist.
The Lady Gaga meat dress stunt is fully responsible for me offering to wear a meat suit when looking for Dogman. She is
That's your
my
inspiration.
inspiration for that.
All right. And so from here, I found another example that I'll bring forward because it's interesting and it's ironic at the same time. This example is going to be of an artist called The Weeknd. And apparently he has a series of songs and videos that depict him working with the devil. And like I said, it's ironic because me and Steve have actually seen this narrative, which is the sole reason why I'm bringing any of this forward. So The Weeknd became famous due to his album Beauty Behind the Madness. The album has a few songs like The Hills, Can't Feel My Face, Tell Your Friends, and a couple other. But you start with the Hills video. And apparently in this video, you see an injured Weeknd from a car accident. He leaves the scene and they say he's presumably meeting the devil. He meets some mysterious man in a red room. And this man is just sitting in the center of this room, which people speculate symbolizing the devil. Kind of open-ended with this one, in my opinion, but it continues. You go on to Can't Feel My Face. In this video, he's performing in front of a crowd that literally doesn't give a shit about him, not even paying him any mind. Then you have the same mysterious man from the Hills video appear, and he throws a lighter at the Weeknd. I kind of picture like a Zippo that's being lit, tosses it at the Weeknd, catches him on fire. And as he's on fire, the crowd notices him and starts to dance and have a good time to his music. So it's like saying, well, after my deal, now I'm being acknowledged for everything. Then you have the video for Often. It shows his success from working with said mystery man. He's surrounded by women, booze, drugs, even having the mystery man pouring him champagne. Then in the video, Tell Your Friends, you see a burning bush, which we all know the story of the burning bush. Moses speaks to God. But at this point, the Weeknd is supposedly symbolizing cutting the ties with the devil now that he's found God. He has a song called Starboy, and in this video, there's a mystery man, not the same one that I'm referring to earlier. There's a person wearing a mask that kidnaps the Weeknd and suffocates him with a plastic bag, only to reveal when he pulls the mask off that it's himself. And it supposedly symbolizes him killing off his old self, even showing in this video him wearing a silver necklace with a cross on it. He also uses a cross to break all of his awards from the previous album. Of course, all this could be a massive metaphor in dealing with his past or anything. It could be about fucking sobriety. But I do find it weird because me and Steve have seen the exact same thing play out with the Island Boys.
Yeah.
To a fucking T.
Their spiral was... Whew.
But like that, like it was legitimately to a T.
Yeah.
Them making deals, like they even said it. They said, I sold my soul.
Yeah. And interestingly enough, TikTok guy that essentially put us onto Old Crazy Legs, I guess, or Old Crazy Legs was already there, and he just kind of let us know about it. But he reportedly helped the Island Boys in the ritual to sell their soul for fame. And he said that they were not keeping up their end of the bargain. And apparently when you do that, when you make deals with entities, I don't know if it was the devil they were working with or what specific entity, but when you don't keep up your end of the bargain, things go south really fast. And you can see them trying to make good by starting to wear religious iconography, wearing, cross chains and getting crosses tattooed on their body and all this stuff, essentially trying to revert back the deal that they made and get on the positive side of things.
Right. And that's why I brought this up, because it's the same story, just from a different artist.
Yeah. It's like he's trying to circle back and use God to try to break all of these deals that he's made and all this, the fame and shit that came with it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like,
doesn't
the entity's part of the bargain that was met. Now it's your turn to meet your end of the bargain. Maybe not quite yet, but we don't know the form of the payment other than supposedly it was their souls. So if that's the case, good luck paying that one back.
Yeah.
That's a heavy burden. But from there, one would ask, like, can you sell your soul? Is it possible to get out of said deal and still retain your successes? Or does it fall off? Do you die? What happens?
And what is the soul's value?
Yeah, exactly. Because if that's a thing, I'm sure people catch on and attempt the same thing. Like, if you can make a deal with the devil, get your riches, get your fame, and then just go, hey, God, I fuck with you now. And now I'm out of this. Like, I feel like that's kind of a risky bet, to bet on that. To be like, hey, this is the road I'm going.
Yeah, somebody else already owns your soul.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you look at it like from a deity standpoint, let's say souls are currency, right? In the big scheme of the upper echelon of the gods and old gods and stuff, and human souls are currency. That's why everybody's vying for them, this god over here wants you to proclaim your soul to them, and this god over here wants you to do the same thing. Well, once you've already sold that off to one of them, you're not really worth a whole lot to the others.
Exactly. You'd have to do something to get your soul back before the other ones would really give a shit. And that kind of gets brought out to light later on here. But if you would think, no matter who you're dealing with, if you went into that agreement with the idea, all right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to fuck with this guy, quote unquote, selling my soul, get my riches and shit, and then I'm just going to double back and go fuck with God so I can get my soul back and I'm free and clear. Don't you think that they'd see that coming a mile away?
Yeah, they probably both laugh at you.
That's kind of where I'm at. And I feel like in the end, both sides of the coin you're trying to play, they know, and they're going to know your intention is to fuck them.
Yeah. And if you go by what's written, like, the devil himself is one of the greatest deceivers of all time. Like, he fully convinced a third of the angels of God's army to be like, nah, we don't fuck with you anymore.
Yeah.
We're trucking out. You think that fucking Robert or Karen over here is going to pull a fast one on the devil?
Exactly. Even God, for the fact of the matter, you might say that God is all knowing and all loving, but there's lots of evidence that show that he's
like
kind of spiteful.
He drowned the world.
Yeah. Like you, and I view that, the more we learn, I view that as, the mentality of a God. Like, you hear all of them. Every one of them demand a certain level of respect, which not only is common courtesy, because you are supposed to respect people, but it makes sense for, an omnipotent being. Yeah, I kind of feel like they might feel like they're a little bit entitled there.
Yeah.
They kind of have a few pegs over you.
Yeah. But I feel like if you're omnipotent and omnipresent, having a bunch of little peons kneeling at your feet shouldn't even matter.
Oh, believe me, I'm definitely on that route, like in my way of thinking. I just can understand said old God, God, whomever, having a little bit of like, no, listen, you're not going to come in my house and be disrespectful. You hear me?
It's like and it's almost like a flex to the other entities out there. Like, hey, I've got all these humans over here worshiping me. That means they're not worshiping you. LOL.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I could definitely see that. But
it sucks being a pawn.
Oh, yeah.
In the intergalactic cosmic entity war.
That it is what it is, man. It is what it is. But so I started kind of digging around from there. I literally Googled how to sell your soul. That's what I was Googling.
That I feel like that probably put us on a weird list.
Well, it was like on actually it was DuckDuckGo, and it was probably like, when you like start to type things in and it'll pull it up. Boop, boop, boop.
Yeah.
It was like 4th on the list.
I'm gonna do that with Google. Carry on.
Try it. But I found this black magician, right? And he even advises. He says you should never sell your soul to a spirit ever. Not the devil, not a low level demon, not a grand demon, not a spirit, not shit. Don't sell your soul ever.
That says a lot about our search engines, because in Google, number 1 is how to sell your soul to the music industry.
Oh, there you go.
How to sell your car, how to sell your house, how to sell your house without a realtor.
I usually use both of them. I kind of bounce because they both give different things, so I'll just kind of bounce back and forth. But
that is interesting that you bring up what you just said before I interrupted with my Google search, but you never think about, hey, Hollow Cult, the weather's getting nice. And you know what that means? It's cryptid hunting season. And the first rule to cryptid hunting is good footwear. That's why we're excited to announce our partnership with Tecovas boots. When you're out hunting the dogman or stalking chupacabra, you don't have time to break in boots. That's why Tecovas is so nice. They have first wear comfort. It's hard to find this level of comfort paired with their styles when you're out hunting cryptids.
And let me tell you, their styles are on point. I've always considered getting me a pair of snakeskin boots, and their pair is mint. They also have crocodile boots, caiman boots, ostrich boots, regular leather boots. They have it all, and it's ridiculously awesome. You can even stop by the local Tecovas store, have a complimentary drink or two, and shop new styles. The smell of fresh leather and a friendly staff are at your service. Many stores even have leather custom branding to make your boots truly personalized. And with regular live music and events, there's no in-store experience like it. So just imagine yourself getting a pair of legitimate snakeskin Hollow Sky branded boots. How awesome would that be?
Nothing is going to intimidate a dogman like a nice pair of gator skin boots. If you can't make it into a store, just visit Tecovas.com. That's Tecovas.com. They offer free shipping on all boots, as well as free returns and exchanges, and ship right to your door. Go to Tecovas.com and find your new favorite pair of boots today. Being able to sell one's soul to almost a lesser entity.
Yeah, like the way he makes it sound is like you can sell your soul to just about anything.
Which is...
But he's like, don't do that because then they own you. Your soul's gone.
It's kind of funny story that I will tell because I was a strange kid. So it had to be after I was in middle school. So like 7th grade, and a kid on the bus wanted to borrow $1, and I said, "You can sell me your soul for $1." So I had him write his name and soul on a piece of paper, and he gave it to me, and then I gave him $1. And then the rest of the week, it must have weighed on his brain for so much, or weighed on his conscience, that the rest of the week he like kept trying to get the paper back, the receipt for his soul back. And hindsight, that's kind of weird.
It's actually kind of like telling.
Yeah, I mean,
like the fact that it bothered him that much, like, well, could essentially just been played off as a fucking haha.
Yeah.
Like, but it weighed on him that much where he's like, you know what? There's something not right about this.
Yeah, I don't feel good. He was probably like, he probably got it for like a soda and a candy bar, and he's eating it. He's just like, oh shit.
This is what I sold my soul for.
Yeah.
It is funny you bring that up though, because I did read an account where a video game developer actually hid it in their terms of service. By signing this, you pledge your soul over to us. And then after they did that, there was over 75,000 people that signed the terms of service. And then they kind of came forward with it, and they were just like, this proves that no one reads the terms of service.
That's what I was just going to say. I said, you know how much shit pops up on my phone? Like, do you agree to these terms and services? Yeah, fuck yeah, I do. Let's go.
Yeah.
And imagine, like we were talking about, the amount of contracts we signed for work and for loans and this, that, and this, and that, and this, and that. Yeah.
You definitely see how there could be some lost in translation situations happening there.
Yeah, it's hard to tell how many times
you've sold your soul.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. This is also something that's interesting, according to this black magician. So we've all heard stories of people trying to sell their soul, right? Like, you've heard of them cases where somebody's like, "I'm going to sell my soul," and then they try and nothing happens. They don't get their fame. They don't get their fortunes. They don't get nothing. According to this guy, the only reason why that doesn't happen is because your soul's already promised to somebody.
Oh.
That's why it's not working. Because he's like, kind of like what you were saying, well, if you don't have anything to bargain with, why am I gonna bargain with you?
I'm not playing poker with somebody who doesn't have any fucking money.
There you go. There you go. And I do find it ironic in listening to this black magician talk, because he uses some very peculiar phrases. He uses phrases like Luciferian technology. And that phrase, it wasn't Luciferian or Luciferian. It was Enochian technology, like from Tony's episode.
Yeah.
The fact that they call it technology is very interesting to me. And the fact that he calls it technology. But he said this is the same type of shit that the Illuminati will use. According to this black magician, your soul is essentially shelled. It has a barrier around it, and when you sign these contracts with music labels or whatnot, that these music labels / corporations, some of them have deep ties to the occult and the Illuminati. And by signing these contracts, it kind of fractures that shell and allows them to siphon your energy, siphon your soul, which is how they will begin to manipulate into doing things. They will bait you into rituals and things like that. And I felt like most of the time, and this is where I kind of stand corrected, because I was going to come out and be like, I feel like most of the time when you are making a deal with the devil, I feel like you're not actually making a deal with the devil. You're making a deal with whatever fuck shows up. But according to this black magician, most of the music industry's dealings are actually with the devil. I think it was like devil, Moloch, and Baal were like the three main ones, I think.
I wonder if that's because like music has such a powerful hold on humans. Like it's so directly linked to our emotions that you know, these entities know that it's such a powerful tool. Like music
I can see that. I feel it. I feel what you're saying.
Yeah, and music is universal.
Yeah.
Every culture has some sort of music.
Yeah, and I feel like, yeah, that makes sense that the heads of the game are going to be like, no, you don't get music, asshole. I get music, because that's a massive connection, and I want that influence.
We can never have anything nice.
That's true. But it's fucked up when I'm listening to this guy, because he describes when these things happen, and he's like, so we all face struggles. Life will kick us in the teeth. Well, apparently these struggles can be presented to you by the people siphoning off of you. So these challenges get placed in front of you. You have to fight these challenges. It is inevitable that you're gonna fight with this challenge. Well, when you're using all of your energy to fight whatever challenge has been placed in front of you, that energy is then being siphoned from you by the quote unquote elites. That's how this game gets played. And it's kind of confusing at first, because you're like, okay, well, none of this actually makes sense, because if I don't sell my soul, if I don't sit here and pledge my soul to something, well, what the fuck do I have to worry about? That means the challenge that I'm facing right now is just that. It's just the challenge of life. According to him, it expands beyond that. According to him, it's not just people wanting to sell their soul. It's people like you and me who have to work. And you go to your job, you start signing papers to be able to work. I'm not saying that your job at Mickey D's is signing a contract with Belial.
But it might be.
It might be. It might be because of the corporation at the top of the food chain.
Lady Gaga did wear a chicken nugget head.
Well, there you go.
Illuminati.
I misspoke on that then.
Confirmed.
But what it is your company doesn't have to directly be connected to it. It's the overarching corporation that actually has the ties to the occult. And from there it kind of trickles down and then trickles back up, by you signing that contract. Well, now you've become basically an object to be siphoned from. And
that sucks.
It does suck. But at the same time, you can't tell me that it doesn't kind of make sense.
Oh no, it makes a lot of sense, and that makes it suck worse.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's interesting, like I was talking about earlier, some of these phrases like the technology or the mass collective, working with chaos, which sounds very Saturnish. A lot of these terms, they're easy to speak, even more so in these topics. But it's weird how he explains how a lot of people are waking up and they're learning that they are living these unimportant lives. And you're giving all this energy to a force that's literally just draining you. And that resonated with me on such a fucking massive level, because if you've been listening to the show for a hot minute, I've been saying that for a while about myself and my life. Or the older I get, the more I am questioning work. Like, this is literally a waste of my fucking time. Steve says it all the time too.
I heard that.
Like, if I've even made the comment, it feels like it's sucking my soul, like crushing my soul, shattering my soul. I can feel it. So it's just weird to be listening and then him give that analogy. Like, people are starting to realize, because that's what he says about the mass collective, all these people that are shelled and they're being siphoned off of. He's like, they care about unimportant things. They bitch about unimportant things. And he's like, I'm not trying to be an asshole, but most of you live unimportant lives. That's just the way it goes. And I'm like, damn, that fucking hits.
That is a tough pill for a lot of people to swallow.
Yeah. Yeah. And according to him, most of us are being siphoned off of for the upper management, for the elites.
Like I said, you can't fight the elites when you're fighting to survive.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm actually highly considering reaching out to this guy because he really breaks a lot of this down into easily understandable areas. I mean, he's pretty blatant. Like, he'd just tell you, like, I'm not no light worker at all. He's like, at the end of the day, I'm in it for power. He's like, so I siphon off of people. I have a cycle that I use that makes me stronger. But the way he explains everything, it fucking makes sense in a weird way. And you're like, I kind of want to have a conversation with you. Not saying I agree with what you do. Not saying I'm trying to partake in what you do. But I am interested in learning, because he's like, you can, if your soul is gone, you can get it back. You can 100% get it back. But it ain't easy. It's not easy. He used it, and I'm fucking assuming it's a metaphor, but he basically said you got to go downstairs and get it.
You got to learn how to play the fiddle really well.
Yeah.
Like in The Devil Went Down to Georgia.
Yeah. But he's like, you got to go downstairs to get it. You got to go get it back.
That's interesting.
He said the best way to deal is not to sell your soul. It's to make a soul contract. And I'm kind of confused on that process. And I'll try to explain it. And I don't know that I fully understand it. So it is hard for me to explain because I don't understand it. But he essentially explains it in the way where you call forth an entity. And you're like, all right, I'm going to make a soul contract with you. And it's almost like if I understood the way he was describing it, it's almost like a gamble. So you put your soul contract up, which is kind of like a bet. You're going to be faced with your challenges that come with this. If you fail those challenges, whatever the challenges are, he didn't elaborate on the challenges. I don't know if it's dealing with the death of a loved one, if it is tasks that you must perform. I don't know. I don't know what that means. But if you fail whatever challenge is presented to you, your soul is gone. You have lost. But if you succeed, if you push past the challenge, whatever it is, you get past that. Well, now the spirit that you have called upon, now you draw on their energy. You're able to siphon their energy into yourself. And the way he describes this, it's almost like, because that's kind of how he works. Ironically enough, it's kind of how he works with the masses, quote unquote. It's like Steve is connected to the divine creator, right? And envision a tether that comes from the creator source into Steve. What people like this black magician do is they create these environments, they create these contracts, they create these situations that allow them to essentially step in front of Steve's tether and start absorbing Steve's tether. So they're drawing the divine essence into themselves, and they just keep trying to step in front of people's tethers and absorbing their tethers.
I feel like a guy got it like 15 people in front of mine.
That's no lie. That is no lie at all. But it's just fascinating the way he kind of describes it, because it does sound like TikTok dude we've referenced. And I like I said, I'm really considering trying to reach out to him, see if maybe he'll come on the show and talk about some things, because he does a pretty well job of explaining things. He like in regards to people's abilities, and because he says it just like everybody else in that world. He's like most people don't realize how important they actually are and how powerful they are. We are all extremely powerful beings. You have to go through the process of unlocking, breaking that shell off your soul, your essence.
Yep. You hear it time and time again.
Exactly. You have to learn. He's like, you have to go on that spiritual journey to crack that shell, and then you're going to be able to manifest your reality. Then you're going to have psychic abilities.
Yep. TikTok dude said the same thing.
Exactly.
It's not going to be a fun trip most of the time. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be without, pain. There can be no progress without conflict.
And that's weird. You say that, because I'm pretty sure, unless my brain is confusing, but I want to say, homeboy I was watching, the Black Magician, spoke about the fire, where he's like, don't get it twisted. Like, you're gonna be put to the fire.
Yeah, it's almost verbatim what TikTok guy said.
Yeah, it's weird.
I feel like they have been imbued with knowledge that is very similar.
Yeah. Yeah, whether it's I guess their angle is subjective, how they view it. Because a lot of people are going to view it like you're working with demons. That's not cool. But they talk about it like it's not a big deal.
Yeah, because TikTok guy talked about virtually the same thing, stepping in front of the essence, where he was talking about his like almost like karmic vampirism.
Yeah,
where he was he said you can feed off other people's energies.
And it's fucking weird to see people slip into the same currents, if you will, and have these same patterns when you're listening to these people talk.
Yeah. And think about how many people have reached out to us and told us that something or somebody out there is out to do us harm, out to, out there with full on bad intentions toward you and I.
Yeah.
And then think about like the path of the last couple years, everything that's happened, all the bad shit that's happened, like how just absolutely drained we are right now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, like we were talking about earlier, I feel like I legitimately, no joke, not exaggerating, I feel like I'm hanging on by a thread. Most days I feel like I'm getting like I told my wife and I told you, I was like, I don't know how much fight I have left in me. Because, like, this is the part of the movie where the hero is beaten to a pulp, but he gets back up. I was like, I don't know if I can get back up.
Especially if you think about it, like, our show's not huge by any means.
Not even close.
Say we fall on 20,000 people's ears, 30,000 people's ears. If you had a collective of just a few people all either focusing their intent and energy on draining us of ours, or you could have a dozen people individually focusing on draining us of ours. How taxing that could be.
Well, shame on you.
Me?
No, said people being dick
nerds.
butts.
Dick butts. Nerds.
B, that's also, I mean, really test the weight of that comment. Like, really feel that weight. Like, it almost makes you feel crazy to contemplate that as a real possibility. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like, we're pretty two sound-minded individuals. Sure, we allow our minds to venture into very curious areas. And we may believe it to varying degrees. But it's also, like I've brought it up, it's a whole new thing to experience that. To experience an alien in your bedroom, to experience light work, to experience all these things. Man, does it bring it to perspective.
Yeah.
Like when you firsthand experience. It's one thing to believe it. It's another to experience
to feel it.
So.
And it's people from different, like, people with no connections at all. People from different corners of the world.
Legitimately.
Sending literally different corners of the world. Sending us these warnings that something is out there with ill intentions toward us.
Yeah, and
it's been going on for what, probably 2 years, year and a half?
Yeah, at least. And keep in mind, like, in no way, shape, or form do me and Steve think we're special. In no way, shape, or form do me and Steve think we have divine purpose or we are paranormal hotspots. Couldn't be farther from the truth.
I was told that I was a Rift Jewel anchor.
You do have that going
by
for
a
you.
nefarious entity.
You do have that going for you. But what I'm trying to get is, like, we are not clout chasing. We are, like, this is just us speaking our mind at this point. Just kind of throwing shit out into the ether. Right? Like, because I don't ever want people to think that we're clout chasing. You know what I mean? Because I do feel like at this point in our lives, and maybe it's just our view, maybe it's just our view, maybe it's our outlook, maybe it's the expansion of our awareness, our consciousness, whatever the case may be. I feel like things happen to us more than we consider. At this point, not so much like when we first started. You know what I mean? Like, we would have weird stuff here and there.
Yeah.
But I feel like over the past 2-3 years, things have just really took off, you know? And our outlooks on everything has changed, which is a good thing. Like, it shows progress. It shows learning. It's just, I don't know, man. It's all so weird. It's so weird. And it's, I don't know.
And I mean, that timeline correlates with the warnings we've gotten. Correlates with the weird shit we were dealing with.
All of it's weird, dude.
Yeah.
And, like, I'm with you. I think at some point we should probably try to put a timeline together and kind of blow that wide open. But at least maybe somebody more knowledgeable out there will be able to tell us what the fuck's actually going on. Like, no, you two dumbasses aren't being tailed by this. This is what's going on. I don't know. We may never even find an answer, but there are weird things that happen which could be for a reason. I'll put that there. Me and Steve are pretty good at connecting oddities. I guess that's the best way I can put that. Where we see these things that are there, and you're kind of like, man, like you always say, when does Quinky Dink stop being Quinky Dink?
For us, a long time ago.
Yeah. I'm with that. I agree with that. I don't know, man. The world just
I
fucking
think
crazy.
there are stellar forces at play beyond our comprehension.
I agree with that. I do. And I think I don't and I you know what? I don't think you and me are special. We might be special. But what I think is that anyone can catch the attention of something. You know what I mean? Like, I kind of envision you and me standing in front of the door, just going, and we don't stop. We just keep knocking.
It's like,
and finally somebody goes, all right already. And they open the door.
There it is.
And then, yeah, exactly. And now the door's open. Like now we've knocked for so long, something opened the door.
We're like, shit.
Yeah, we're like, oh, man. It's like that time I found a tick on me, and that was exactly what I did. I saw it, and I go, oh, man. I'm like, Shauna, get this thing off of me.
I don't know. You start thinking about the things we've experienced and how they ramp up, when certain things show up in our lives, you know, the consistency of these things showing up in our lives, the patterns that they use when they show up. Eventually, like, are we, at what point can you completely rule out that we're making something out of nothing?
Yeah.
And I feel like that was a long time ago.
And also, I'll be 100% fair and honest. A lot of times I play devil's advocate. A lot of times, because JJ kind of called me on it, on me being indecisive. I'm actually not that indecisive. I am modest. Is I think the better key phrase to use. Because at this point, you can ask Steve. Steve's got this working theory that he's working on, making a lot of connections, making a lot of observations. Steve brought it up to me. I'm like, yeah, I could see it. However, I can't say that I'm 100% sold on it, but I could definitely see the possibility of. The more we go down that avenue, the more I'm kind of like, okay, you might actually be right about this. Like, because I'm starting to see a lot less avenues that it could be. Because in the beginning, I'm like, well, it could be this, it could be that, it could be this, it could be that. And then as time moves forward, each of those avenues are closing down, and it's kind of starting to narrow into one particular narrative.
Which in itself has some strange repercussions if it's accurate.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Because I can feel when you're playing quote unquote devil's advocate and you're like, well, it could be this and it could be that. And for this particular thing we're talking about, in the beginning, I was like, come on, Kyle, you got to see it. But then as more of the strings started to line up, I was kind of like, I felt like I was kind of in my own head about it. Almost like how I was with Egress.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And I was kind of hanging on you to be like, well, maybe not. But then as it just keeps compiling and boom, 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 everything keeps lining up. And you're kind of turning.
Yeah.
You're kind of buying into the narrative.
Yeah.
I'm beginning to be like, what the fuck if we are right?
I know. Oh, that's where I'm at. And like I said, like on air, I'm really fucking modest. I will just do like the open. It could be this, it could be that, right? but in my head internally, most of the time, I'm pretty locked in on my narrative. Like I'm pretty. I'll either be really well. I'll be even fair. Most of the time, I only am modest is when I'm actually locked in on a theory, and I'm not trying to sound a particular way.
Yeah, I get that.
Because if I'm not sold on it at all, most of the time I'm like, I don't know that I'm really vibing that. Like that just not weighing for me. But if I am extremely sold on something, only when it comes to you and me though. Like I'm not about like the topic wise. This is only when it pertains to you and me. Because I would rather be modest than come across like, no, I don't want to come across like me and Steve are divine. We have these connections with this, that, and the other. No, I'm not that way. I couldn't honestly portray myself that way. That just seems foolish to me.
And usually we do the Mulder and Scully thing. Like
90% of the time, yeah.
Where one of us is locked in.
Yeah.
The other one's questioning.
Yeah. It definitely always gets worrisome when we're both Mulder.
That's what I was just gonna say.
When
we both get on the same path, I'm like, this is because I mean, if you lock the timeline in,
it's an interesting one.
Because essentially, if we tie it to X, the first time I heard about X with Ghost Hunter Dave was when I was working at Code Plastics. Was also in tie with the probably, as of right now, I can probably speak for both of us when I say it was probably the single most traumatic event of our lives.
X?
No. The timeline of when I first heard about X, which would have been right at the time Ernie was killed.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So it's weird that you're in that vulnerable state, and then this is brought out.
That is weird.
And then it sits dormant for a while.
Yeah, because that could have been like a fucking foreshadow mind plant seed shit.
Yeah, it was because I didn't work at Co-Plastics for very long.
Right.
2 years tops. And that all correlated within the same time frame. Because it had to have been about the time that I was getting ready to leave.
Yeah. Put the wheel in motion.
Yeah, because I worked there whenever I found out we were going to have Ev. And then Ernie got to meet Ev right before his first birthday.
Yeah. Yeah, that's weird when you look at it like that.
Because I've been trying
to want to draw a timeline out.
Piece the puzzle together.
Yeah.
And that was when Ghost Hunter Dave was talking about the portal, the Watcher. Don't fuck with the devil. The devil will follow you home.
Forever be the most terrifying quote.
Yeah.
I think eventually you guys are going to be in for one hell of a story. Because the timeline's getting put together. And this story may or may not air on a bigger show. But one way or the other, I think we are coming to a head of where this will probably get turned into an episode somewhere. It's just putting all the pieces together first, making it right. You know, not having an egress event where it's a piece here and a piece there and a piece on this show and a piece on that show. I'd like for one solid timeline this time. One episode sums it up.
Yeah.
One episode gets the story out there.
With Egress, it was weird because we were still like almost actively experiencing it.
Yeah. And we are currently, but
yeah. There's a whole big narrative that could be painted up to this point.
Right.
Where it's hard to explain without people knowing the back details, but it's almost like I don't know. It makes me feel fucking nuts when I say it.
I know that feeling all too well.
like the possibility that there could be warring entities out there trying to vie for our attention, which essentially is kind of what it is fucking, like, just saying it is bonkers to me.
Yeah, I'll take the more modest approach. I think that no matter which way you unpack it, no matter which way you analyze it, I think without a question, we knocked on another door and got another answer. Even if it was an unintentional knock.
Strange.
But intentional by doing the show. I think I'll always have that mentality now. You knock on the door long enough, something's going to answer. You stare into the darkness stares back.
Yeah.
And I think somehow, some way, we caught the attention of something, and something is repeatedly making itself known that I'm here and I'm ready. I'm ready if you're ready.
Yeah, like your move.
I think the ball is in our court is what is happening. Like, this thing just keeps reminding us, like, hey, you got the ball. You got the ball. It's your turn to make the decision.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh boy.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. On that note, now that we've been exceptionally cryptic the last 10 minutes of the show.
Probably annoyingly so.
Yeah. We will work on a timeline. And we will put it out. And then I feel like we almost should put it out on our show and then branch out from there.
Oh, that's fine. I don't care.
Like, we have a collective set, and then, because we don't even know where it's going to go. Like, what the next steps are. I don't know, but we'll see, because it's weird, and that's what we're here for.
It's definitely weird.
So now that we've teased you for the last 10 minutes, we're going to sign off. So thanks for hanging out with us today. And check us out on all our socials: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, Discord, Reddit. Come be part of the Holocult. And until we meet again, stay safe, stay weird, and don't sell your soul to wear a meat suit in some music award show.